Because unfortunately, just through just again growing up, the people I was around, I connected with like my crew. It was like, yo, bro, screw that credit stuff, man. You ain't got to worry about credit. Just go get the bag, like run it up. Like, what you mean? You don't need no credit. So
Right.
that's what I did. And you fast forward, when I actually needed it is like, and I didn't realize like your credit score and profile controls every major area of your life as an adult, whether you realize it or not. And we could talk about underwriting guidelines and stuff for multiple products as an adult later.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Morgan Mayfield, the Modern Mentor. I've helped thousands of agents grow their business. And on today's call, I'm very excited to bring on Ernest Epps. He is a credit and business finance mentor. He's one of my personal mentors. He's a finance and business coach as well. And we're going to go over some very important information for you to grow your real estate business this year and to get everything structured correctly so that you can be successful as a real estate agent for the rest of your career. So, Ernest, if you could you give everybody a little bit of background on yourself?
What's up, y'all? So, man, like Morgan have mentioned, I am in the game of just helping people win in the finance space, right? So let's just kind of get to the nitty gritty of like how this even happened, because I tell people straight up, like really, like worldwide, like I never had the intentions on being in the finance space in no way, shape, or form, right? And the first thing that most people come into my ecosystem looking to improve is like their credit profiles, right? Like personal credit, business credit, things of that nature. Then most importantly is being able to get access to operating capital to be able to grow and scale their businesses, right? And so how I got into the space in totality was running my portfolio of companies. So my very first business I launched was a wine storage company. And I got to a point, like let's just fast forward, like it was a crazy story at the beginning. We could circle back there later because I was sleeping in my car like 3 nights a week because my house got foreclosed on when I was living with my mom, like in college. It was a hot mess. So trust and believe, it didn't always start like that. But if Morgan wants to revisit that conversation, we definitely can. But fast forward, though, I launched a wine storage business and it took off pretty quickly. Now that was through years of frustration too, mind you, but it took off when it took off. And I got to the point where I was doing about a $500,000 that year, right? And so when that happened, I was intuitive enough to realize that hey, if I just had a little bit of extra resources, I could be able to grow the business. So I decided to go to some banks and say, hey, my business is doing really well. Here's my tax returns. Here's my actual bank statements. We make money. Could I get some? So no one taught me this stuff growing up. Literally, the only financial advice, unfortunately, that my mom gave me was that just pay your bills on time. Like that was it.
Right.
Like, pay your bills on time. Like get a job. Like because even being an entrepreneur, she was not really encouraging on that side of things either. But that was the only financial advice that I got. So I thought I was under the notion. I was so naive to think that oh, banks give money to people that can show they make money. That's who they want to give. Because let's face it, at the end of the day, their business model is lending, right? Like, unless they give money away, there's no profit margin to be generated because they make money on the interest, right? So that's where I was. I said, okay, I'm doing $500,000 net profit, 180,000. So strong margins, mind you. And every bank told me no. I was like, what? Like, who in America can get money at a bank if I can't? Like, I don't understand. And the short version was, bro, your credit profile is terrible. Like, absolutely horrible. Get this guy out of here. Like, it was my credit score was so bad, I almost tripped the alarm walking into the bank, right? So it was horrible. Because unfortunately, just through just again growing up, the people I was around, I connected with like my crew. It was like, yo, bro, screw that credit stuff, man. You ain't got to worry about credit. Just go get the bag, like run it up. Like, what you mean? You don't need no credit. So
Right.
that's what I did. And you fast forward, when I actually needed it is like, and I didn't realize like your credit score and profile controls every major area of your life as an adult, whether you realize it or not. And we could talk about underwriting guidelines and stuff for multiple products as an adult later. But that's what I ran into. It actually got so bad where I went into one bank and I actually got kicked out of the bank because of my credit profile, which is a really weird story. But short version, I was just trying to figure out why I was getting denied, and the banker wouldn't tell me. And so she called security because I was raising my voice. African American male. I was much larger than what I am right now too. And so it's she tried to say I was being aggressive, and I'm just like, ma'am, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. So I even got kicked out of the bank for having bad credit. Okay, so I know the worst of the worst. And short version is my best friend, he let me borrow his American Express Business Platinum card, right? Because obviously we're well connected, stuff like that. He saw my growth and saw me, business doing well for years back to back. He's like, look, bro, I'm gonna let you borrow this, but you got two rules, okay? Card had $150,000 limit, so it wasn't like no like $2,000 card, $150,000 limit. He said, I got two rules for you. Number one, if you miss a payment, I'm cutting you off. He's like, I don't care if you're sick, if something happened to your kids, like I do not care. You miss a payment, your pass is gone. I was like, fair enough. Because a missed payment, that literally is like 35% of your profile, right? And on the business side, it's 50%. So you miss a payment, you destroy your profile. It's really bad. So he was serious about that. Second thing was he told me that he could keep all the reward points. So basically, he got to make all the free money on the back end.
Right.
So I was like, cool, I get to use all your money, right? When you're not charging me to use your money either, but all the benefits, he got to keep all the benefits and rewards. So with that being said, the very next year, I went from a half a million to $1.1 million. Very next year. And I've been at $1 million a year ever since. So
That,
you can
that's
imagine, like,
that's
yeah.
pretty incredible. I'm sure we could talk for hours on, how you made it to this point. I know that you've helped countless real estate agents in the industry, build their business correctly, structure their business correctly, and help with their credit profiles as well. So what's one of the most common mistakes that you see real estate agents making when it comes to running their business in general?
So the first thing in terms of just running the business is they treat the business like a hobby and it pays them like a hobby. If you treat the business like a business, it's gonna pay you like a business. So, man, so just fundamentally, one of the biggest things I see is most people don't even have a game plan for customer acquisition. Like, like you're a business operating, and here's the thing: even if you don't want to register your entity yourself, guess what? You're classified as self-employed, which is guess what? I.e., under the tax code in the United States of America. Another country maybe might be different, but in the U.S., where most of us are, you are still classified as a business, right? And I'm pretty sure other countries are on par with that too. So inevitably, it's like again, most people aren't taking control and ownership of it. So getting back to just the small intricacy of customer acquisition, because let's face it, even once you get operating capital, you have great profiles, great scores, stuff like that. That means absolutely nothing if there's no ability to service the debt and if there's no cash flow, either or. Like you're still going to be in the same exact spot as you were prior to you having really awesome credit or really awesome access to operating capital. So you have to make sure that you're cash flowing, i.e., acquiring customers on a consistent basis. And the thing I love about you, Morgan, is that you teach customer acquisition models so you aren't held hostage to the marketplace. Because, oh my God, you want to know the worst things I hear about agents? Like, I asked them, what's your customer acquisition model? Like, how do you get business? Word of mouth,
Past clients and referrals.
referrals, Facebook Marketplace.
Right.
What? Like, what are you talking about?
And that's great. That's those closing checks are enough to, pay your bills, pay your car note, keep your lights on, pay your mortgage, but it's not enough for you to actually be able to grow a business. And that's where so many real estate agents are lost. Now, I've spoken to real estate agents that have joined my team in order for me to help them out with customer acquisition and help them out with their credit profiles. I've actually had them ask me, can I actually get funding or credit as a real estate agent? Like, will they actually give me money? Can I actually form an LLC and run this like a real business? And it's just shocking to me how many agents think that as a real estate agent, you're not actually a real business and they don't have any funding. I've never even met an agent that had anything other than personal credit cards to, like I said, keep the lights on or pay the mortgage. But, there's so much money out there for small businesses in this country that they could be using this money to run Google pay-per-click ads, to run Facebook ads, Instagram ads, YouTube ads, and acquire as many customers as they need. It's just that once you get out of real estate school, nobody teaches you how to get a client, how to structure your business, how to create an LLC, how to get business credit. Nobody teaches you any of this stuff. And I know it's shocking to people that aren't in the industry. Like they all think that the real estate agents have it together because we get paid 10, 15, $20,000 on a closing check. So it's really easy to look like we have money to go out and buy a new Mercedes if we want to, or buy a lot of clothes and, show up with an appearance like we have money. But really we're, fishing for that next closing check just to keep the lights on. And that's why I feel like this call is going to be super powerful to help as many agents as possible get into, the right mindset and be able to structure their business correctly so they can actually get some funding and actually have some money to do the correct marketing and attract some clients. So, like I was saying, when you come across an agent, typically what are you seeing? Are you seeing their business set up correctly or their LLC, structured correctly? Are they, sole proprietors? Are they entities? Do they even know what that is? What are you seeing in the marketplace?
I mean, unfortunately, like it's a hot mess, right? Like there's really like no nice way to explain it. So here's the thing that you'll find very like hopefully it rubs people either one way or another. Either they're very excited because I'm very just honest, straightforward, and direct, or they get into their feelings only because what I'm telling them is true and it frustrates them, right? But either way, the beautiful thing is I'm going to love on you regardless, like with the information. So your ability to be receptive to it or not is not my job. But my job is to make sure you and your family have the right information. So whether you like me or not, you're going to be good long term. Because the other thing is, everything I'm going to share with you, number one, is always going to be verified and validated in the marketplace. Any data point that ever leaves my mouth, you will always be able to verify it. So whether I'm talking about a lender, federal guideline, anything of that capacity, right? And so with that being said, I just wanted to preface that because like I didn't want someone, having the assumption like, oh, he's just being a jerk right now because like he just, has been doing all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, listen, like I want to love on you with the right stuff so that way you're better off for you and your family. It has nothing to do with me. We're going to be good over here. But I want to make sure that we can multiply this effect in the marketplace. That's one of the things I love about Morgan is that he doesn't like to hold hostage onto really great, valuable information. He's willing to just give it and let the universe give it back to him in some way, shape, or form. And you don't have to be the person that buys a product or service. He's just going to love on you regardless. So that's amazing about you, Morgan. I just want people to understand that this is their first time like hanging out here, right?
Right.
But yeah, man, people just don't have their stuff together because unfortunately no one taught them. So back to the example of like good wine coolers. One of the things that unfortunately again isn't exposed is the fact that if you even change entity type, right? Again, I didn't make this rule. The federal government made it. That if you change your entity type, let's just say you go from an LLC to a C corp, did you know you will no longer get credit for all the past years of existence for your business? Your business literally starts at ground zero.
No, I didn't know that. I'm sure a lot of people watching this video don't know that either.
Yeah, I even had a client, unfortunately, they paid an attorney five figures, right? Five figures in Texas to for them to tell them that they could claim retroactive credit for their old age history. And so I told him that I was like, man, like, look, I'm not a CPA because I tell all y'all that like, I ain't no CPA, I ain't no attorney, I ain't got an associate's degree, right? Like everything. The beautiful thing about my side, any receipt that leaves my mouth, I was just talking to you about my tax returns. I will pull them up. I will show you. Like I literally am a wide open book when I'm in this world, only because I want you to understand that it's coming from actual factual real results. Okay. It's not even for me to like, because then you got the other side, like, oh, he's just showing that because like he just wants me to like, be swindled and that he's doing all this stuff. Like, no, I'm just showing you because I want you to understand we don't have pie in the sky over here. That's the thing I love about Morgan. Like, he doesn't bring you no pie in the sky. Like, real stuff he's actually factually doing that if you did them, they would get you the results, right? And so that's the biggest challenge is the fact that there's so much misinformation. And so when I told them that, they were just like, they were obviously siding with their accountant. They just wrote them a fat check, so they should. But you fast forward a year and a half later, never happened.
And I've seen some of your receipts, and I've actually personally talked to some of the agents that you've helped. And it's just incredible to see what you were able to do for them because, a lot of agents are looking for, free lead generation strategies or, a way to acquire a client without spending any money because they just don't have the capital to spend any money in order to acquire a client. And one of the agents that I talked to that worked with you said he's actually spending $3,000 to $4,000 a month running advertisements, and if he gets one closing from those ads, he's already in profit. Now, I'm sure people have ran ads before, maybe a couple $100 or even upwards to $1,000 a month. But do you understand how many leads you can get as a real estate agent for $3,000 to $4,000 a month and to only have to close one to be in profit? Like those are crazy conversion rates. And for you to be able to help him do that and for him to be willing to, jump on a call with me and explain, exactly what you did and how you were able to help him, how you were able to help him structure his business correctly so that not only did he have money for funding for advertisement and marketing, but he didn't have to worry about living check to check and waiting for that next commission check. Because I know that's something that you see in the marketplace as well. A lot of agents are waiting on their next check to be able to do anything or to be able to make any moves. So is
Yeah, I mean, well, that's here's let's get back to your marketing advertising like budget, right? Here's the number one thing I just tell people, and that's why again, everything I say like is going to make sense. Like you show me a business let's just look at the list of top 1,000 businesses. You probably won't find not a single one of them that don't do marketing and advertising. So, ding, ding, ding. If they're successful and they're doing marketing and advertising, what do you think you should be doing?
And it's crazy because even the coaches in the real estate industry that teach you all of the free strategies are running millions of dollars worth of ads to attract you to their coaching program or to attract clients to their real estate business. And it's like they're teaching you to do something for free, but they're not showing you that sometimes you need to be able to spend a little bit of money. Because when you spend the money and you get the numbers and you know, if I spend $100 and I get 10 leads, all I have to do is turn up the dial and spend $1,000 and I'll get 100 leads. And I can turn the dial up again. And as long as you keep raising the volume of what you spend, you'll keep getting more leads and more closings. And that's when you can literally print money in this industry. It's like, as long as you can attract clients and as long as you can get closings, you literally have a money printer, but you have to have the money up front. You have to have the capital to be able to advertise and market correctly without worrying about, hey, can I run a Facebook ad or do I need to pay the light bill? And, that's where you've been able to help so many people. And I know they're thinking like, hey, these guys are just talking. But like I said, I've seen the receipts. And of course, you're willing to show anybody the receipts or, the testimonials or bring agents live on
Oh,
different calls and, you know, show everything. But in a short story, what is it that you do for agents? Just to sum it up, basically, if somebody was to, work with you.
yeah. So, I mean, the true nature of just the whole totality of your financial ecosystem is inevitably number one, making sure you are looked and viewed credible by financial institutions. And then number two, make sure by the time you start to do things in the financial world that you can always put yourself in a position to have great rates and great terms. Right. So when I say that type of language, most people like don't even understand what that means. So let me give you a real example. Like just before this session that started, this is an actual broker who's in California. What you guys are probably seeing, some future things that we roll out, possibly, to help bless y'all in mortgage ecosystem. But this gentleman is a broker full time. And outside of that, has a real estate and investing company where he does fix and flip projects. So prior to coming into Ernest's ecosystem, all right, he was operating a fix and flip company with products that had 24% interest rate. This was his words, not mine. Now, after going through my systematic process and understanding how to make himself attractive to financial institutions, not even just from the credit profile, not even just from the entity, but also how to fill out applications correctly. His last approval was 45 grand, 0% no interest for 2 years. He did not need it for 2 years, but he needed it for his last recent project. So rather than using the product that he has to pay 24% interest on, which he was doing his entire adulthood up until this point. And he's not a young whippersnapper either, by the way. So he now was able to do that entire project, start to finish, with that one $45,000 product from a financial institution and do it at 0%. Zero.
And I don't think
Zilch.
people understand really how powerful that is or how incredible that is. I know we've all seen the gurus on Instagram that, talk about, hey, I can get you $50,000 for a small business loan or, but how do they typically structure that? Or what are they getting people at exactly? Because, it's tempting when you see them jump out the Mercedes and they're like, hey, do you want one of these? Are you a real estate agent? I can get you the loan. I can help you out. Like, what have you seen? Because I know what they're offering, but I was just wondering if you knew the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that that's why if you just listen to the language I'm, saying, not because like I'm like trying to coerce you in some way, shape, or form. My thing is number one, I want to empower you so you can recognize the trash that's out in the marketplace. Like I genuinely don't care if you decide to learn from me further. But the thing is, I want to always leave you much better so you don't get taken advantage of in the marketplace, right? So with that being said, oftentimes, especially when you're talking about different product types, first of all, you got to understand the totality of the financial world, right? Every different thing that a bank offers is referred to as a product. So a auto vehicle is a product, a business credit card is a product, the business checking account is a product, the savings account is a product. So those are all different product types, right? So oftentimes, different, people that you can find on YouTube, podcasts, radio shows, and stuff like that. They're talking about all these different types of approvals, but no one's getting down to the exact product type that they're referring to. Let me give you another example from someone that was actually just on a call that I just did about 72 hours ago. Young lady got a PayPal business loan. Ooh, yeah, business loan. Yeah, this is my business. It's awesome. Here's what happened. Like this was her words, not mine. I think I shared a little bit with Morgan about the situation. So fast forward, after getting the loan, she's an agent full time, has a small Airbnb portfolio put together, about 8 doors. In order to be eligible for the loan in the first place, they use your accounts receivable to underwrite that loan type. Do you know what type of loan product that is? No, you don't know how it's underwritten. I'll tell you, it's an MCA. So they use your future accounts receivable to underwrite the actual loan product itself. Merchant cash advances are trash, horrible, terrible. So here's the number one thing I tell people in my ecosystem. Everything that we do we're optimizing to get approvals from real traditional financial institutions, not fintech companies, not these third-party companies, no PayPal, no On Deck, no Cabbage. Like, can you go get those? Absolutely. If you're coming in the earnest world, I'm talking about great rates, great terms. I'm talking about 0% no interest products. I'm talking about business lines of credit at 9%, 11%, stuff like that. We're not even talking the same language. So back to this young lady, so you could understand, so I can close out the conversation. Was when she was cash flowing, this was her word. She was like, I was wondering where all my profit was. And she's like, I was looking at my checking account. I'm like, what's going on? Like, I don't understand why there's not more balance in there. And so as she started going and checking the transaction history, because the other thing too, a PayPal business loan is going to be structured only one of two ways, either daily payments or weekly payments. I didn't even ask her about which one it was because it didn't matter. Ultimately, she had no profitability. Why? Because MCAs, merchant cash advances, even if they're sold as business loans and promoted as that, have terrible, terrible rates. Terrible. Okay. So that's why I strategically avoid those. So again, you got to start understanding the nature of what's going on here. So when people are talking about, hey, go, like there was another young lady, I saw a quick video on earlier where she was like, yo, let me show you how to run this play to go get this bag. There's this company called Blase Blah. I don't want to put their brand out there, Blase Blah. And so as soon as she said, I'm going to show you to run this play, I knew exactly what time it was. First of all. Second of all, they said they only needed a 620 FICO score to underwrite a business product. They didn't even care about the business product. That's also I saw that business credit profile. That's how I also knew what time it was. So thirdly, obviously going down the bunny trail, it was a fintech company.
So she's basically about to get you a high interest rate loan and then take a piece of your loan when it comes to you as her profit.
Potentially, like she probably has a referral deal or something like that set up. But the thing is, whether she does or whether she doesn't, a fintech product is always going to have significantly worse rates and worse terms. So you got to understand, like, you got to start understanding the nature of what it is that you're getting involved with. So that's why oftentimes people have the wrong misconception when even we start talking about financial products or business credit or something like that. Like, look, we're not even speaking the same language. Like, we're not even on the same planet, unfortunately, because I'm talking about being able to go to local and even regional banks. We don't even have to be commercial banks, but going to like real banks is the main thing, right? And knowing what they need in order to approve you. And again, whether it's a 0% no interest term product and or something that has low APR. Like I just got one of my business credit cards in the mail. I wish I would have saved. There was the document that came in with it that mentioned the APR on it. This is actually the credit card. I wish I would have saved the APR, but it's 14%. I know your personal credit card right now ain't 4%, 14%. I know it.
The,
The average APR of a personal credit card in the marketplace right now is 22%. So that's the
you
other
know,
part too. When you start getting business products, the product approvals over there, again, when you're going to real banks in the sense of the APRs is significantly lower, significantly lower.
and the problem with a lot of agents is they just don't understand that side. Like we understand, the housing side, how to find people the best houses, how to get them into a house, how to get the home inspection done properly so they don't lose out on thousands of dollars. But we don't have time to really sit down and learn the whole entire financial industry. And even myself as a real estate agent, like in my second full year, I hit almost $200,000 in, profit for my business. And I didn't even have my LLC structured correctly for any type of tax write-offs until I met you. My LLC was structured incorrectly. I didn't have anything set up on my profiles to get any type of funding. Everything that I spent on advertising, marketing, or personal spending came directly out of those closing checks. And then I owed such a large check to the IRS, I almost ended up at ground zero. So, meeting you was, definitely a blessing for me. And I'm just trying to pay it forward to as many people as possible because, you were able to help me structure things correctly. And it's basically like adding another side of my business that I never had. I never had that profitability on the tax side, writing off gas and, writing off meals as expenses of taking clients out for food and just being able to have things structured correctly. It was just like everything was just a fee to the IRS, no credit, no nothing for advertising. Everything was coming directly out of those checks. And I see so many agents struggle with that as well. So I mean, not to end it, but we're definitely going to have to, touch on this topic more in the future. So if anybody's interested in, jumping on a call with me and Ernest so that you can go over exactly what it is that you do and give them a presentation so you can show how you've helped so many agents, all you have to do is go to morganbizevent.com. That's www.morganbizevent.com and register. Ernest is going to bless us with this webinar for absolutely free. So this is going to be a complete game changer for anybody who's in the real estate industry to be able to structure your business correctly, to be able to get some business financing, some business credit cards, and to be able to get some of this funding so that you can run your business like a real business, like you mentioned in the beginning. So go to www.morganbizevent.com and get registered for absolutely free. Go ahead,
Yeah, and
Ernest.
I'll just leave this one statement, man. The ultimate objective I want to see everybody in is to be able to have enough resources, like through operating capital and cash flow, to start acquiring assets, to start making money while you sleep, so you don't have to work until you die. That's my ultimate objective of every agent and small business owner that's out here in the marketplace, because that's where the rubber meets the road, and that's where you really put yourself in a position to have true financial freedom and have your family be in a position to have long-term success. So I just wanted to leave it with that.
Yeah, I mean, that's super powerful. And, anybody that jumps on that call, all you have to do is click the link in the description to get registered for that call. But it's going to be an incredible call where you go over much more than just, business credit cards and low interest rates. You really teach people, outside of lead generation, anybody can teach somebody how to find a for sale by owner or how to find an expired listing, but you're teaching them how to structure the other side of their business correctly. And I feel like there's not too many real estate coaches who are touching on that topic.
Amen to that. Yeah, that's major. And outside of some of the smaller benefits now that your business can leverage within the tax code is actually asset protection. Like you all out here willy nilly. Let's face it. Like there's some silly people out here in the marketplace that have ill intentions, right? And that's not somebody just trying to be negative Nancy. It's just the reality, right? Like unfortunately, that's why like when you purchase a vehicle, they force you to get insurance. If you don't get insurance, they suspend your license, right? Because they know maybe you might not have the intention of getting an accident. Don't mean that somebody not going to hit you, right? So same thing in your real estate world is just like you might not have bad intentions, but something could happen or come up. And guess what? If you don't have the proper protection for yourself, having a true entity in place, 100% of everything that you start to put together for your family is liable in the market. So you gotta learn how to start doing that for yourself. And then to the other side of things, like Morgan, he's never going to be in this position for the rest of his life. Like I promise you guys that. You fast forward like here, literally in the next 3, 6, like 18 months. Now, as he's continued to scale and grow his business, his tax bill is going to reduce. Like let him tell you the actual numbers, but I'm extremely confident whatever he's paying right now is going to reduce at minimum by 30%. Minimum.
And not
Probably
to
close to
mention,
like 40 or 50.
you being able to help me out with my personal credit as well, outside of, the business side of things. And what was it, like $40 I had to pay you to license, what you had. And
Yep.
now I can help my clients as well. So when clients come in with low credit scores, I can take a look at it with the lender, or I can have the lender send me their credit report. And now I can go in and I'm basically one of the credit repair guys that I used to pay to, fix my client's credit so that I could get them approved. And half the time they weren't even able to do it. But with your system, with it being a proven system and everything, so laid out for you, this is actually a way for me to get more deals closed, because now I don't have to throw those clients away that don't have the good credit. I can go in and help them get their credit profile optimized as well, so that we can get them into a house. So, I mean, that's a big thing for agents. I mean, not only are you helping them, with their personal credit, with their business credit, but you're helping out their clients as well. That's crazy.
Yeah, man. My ultimate objective is for our agents specifically is that we can help you because again, to the Morgan's point of like you got a pipeline filled, and it don't matter if your client is looking at a $500,000 property and they got $400,000 for down payment. If they ain't got the other 100, they can't get the deal, right? They got
Right.
to use financing. But if they got a 500 credit score, they are not touching that. No bank is going to touch that. So with that being said, my ultimate objective is that whatever your pipeline is of those particular leads, I want you to think to yourself, how many leads did I have this last 12 months, 18, 24 months as I've been in the marketplace? Like how many leads could I not close just because they had terrible credit? And my personal goal is to help you see a 20 to 30% lift on that now because you understand how the personal space works. Like that's my ultimate objective. So let's say, for example, there was like only 10 leads. If you had two more deals that close, and you know what your numbers are, you know what your metrics are. As Morgan just said, let's just use the low number like 10K. That's an extra $20,000 that you can make because it's two more deals, 10 and 10. That's 20, right? But now that's 20K extra per year for the rest of your life. Because the biggest thing about myself is that I teach the long-term strategies that are going to work no matter what. And they're literally modeled from the Fair Credit Reporting Act when it comes to the personal side, which has been in place since 1970. That has not changed. Okay. So
Yeah.
that's what we're talking about. So now let's do 20 times the next 10 years. That's next to 200 grand in your pocket, not mine. But again, I really want to make sure like people are genuinely good. And that's why stuff like that, like, we just make sure we empower people with so that way you can be in the driver's seat to have real true control. So that's the thing again I love about Morgan is that he's constantly finding ways to add value to his community, and we model and embody those same things, which is why I think we click really well.
Yeah, I believe the same thing. So, for the people that register, that click the link in the description and register for the webinar coming up, what exactly are you going to show them on the webinar?
Yeah, so specifically, like we just talked about, like the personal side, right? So we're gonna walk through how to make sure that you understand how the personal credit like profiles and stuff work to ensure that your profile can go up. Like literally, like it's a systematic flow. This thing, as you can imagine, like this insight is not exposed for people publicly. So again, we've developed mechanisms to like again within the scope of how everything operates, so you can make sure that your score goes up. In addition to that, is how to actually structure your bit like what I'm going to give you is a straight up blueprint. If you take what I show you and walk into any bank in North America and say, hey, I have this in place for my business, how credible is it? They will say, where did you get this from? Because this is amazing. Like, I'm going to give you that. Like, literally, the exact thing that the bank would want to see. I'm going to give you that. Like, you can take a screenshot of it or write it down. You're going to have 100% blueprint to that. But more importantly, how do I actually build the profiles? No, I'm not going to just swindle a bunch of information and keep it to myself. I'm going to leave you with that to where immediately after this call, you can just go and start building your business credit profiles that along with that, you're going to have the data points of who they're actually going to report to so you know how your profile is actually being developed. And last but least is give you an actual process so you can be able to get up to about $100,000 in operating capital. Once again, at great rates and great terms. Strategically, I optimize everything around 0% no interest products because let's face it, when you first kick off the business, you start spending money on ads, the return isn't going to happen right away, right? There's a little bit of a learning curve. You being an agent, you got to nurture your leads. Even back to the example I gave earlier with Wesley, like his fix and flip project didn't happen in 2 weeks, right? Like you acquired a property, you fix it up, you sell it. That was about a 3 month window. But guess what? During the duration of that, he had 0% no interest that he was able to do that whole entire deal with. And I showed him how to pay the contractors. Oh my God. I'm not going to cover that part. We'll do that in overtime if needed. But I showed him how to pay his team using his 0% no interest products. Oh my goodness. So yeah, we're going to be covered minus that part. But if y'all want that insight, I will show you how to do that. But yeah, so just short recap, show you how to optimize your profiles to force your score to go up. Secondly, is how to be able to structure your company so you're credible and attractive to financial institutions. Third is we're going to make sure that give you the game plan and blueprint to build out the business credit profiles very quickly and effectively. Lastly, is make sure that we walk through how to be able to optimize your actual profiles and scores to be able to get up to about $100,000 in operating capital during that duration.
That's incredible. And for you to give that away for free, I mean, I've never seen it. I've never seen anything like this in the industry. So I'm super excited to be a part of this. Everybody, make sure that you get registered. I can guarantee this is not a webinar that you want to miss. So you can click the link in the description, or you can go to www.morganbizevent.com, get registered. You do not want to miss this event. Ernest, I appreciate you for getting on this call and sharing such a wealth of information. And, we got to do this again coming up soon so that we can share some more with the community and help as many people and as many agents get their business set up and structured correctly so we can help as many people as possible. But I definitely want to thank you for getting on the call with me tonight. I got to jump off, but we will definitely do this again. Everybody, smash that subscribe button on my YouTube channel, like this video, and make sure you click that link in the description and get registered for Ernest's webinar. It's going to be definitely a game changer for your business. I appreciate you, Ernest.
All right, now later, let's get it.